Hello and welcome back to Melomaniax, the podcast where we take unbiased deep dives into the biggest musicians and bands of all time. I'm Dallas and I'm kind of losing my voice.
And I'm Ashton and I'm not losing my voice.
Rub it in. Yeah. Well, first, please, don't forget to like and subscribe on YouTube, follow us on Instagram and TikTok, and most importantly, hit us with those 5-star reviews on Apple Podcasts. That's going to help us grow a little faster than other platforms, though we appreciate all 5-star reviews.
And we also have a Patreon that is now live. We have a $5 tier, which is going to give you access to our private Discord, a shout out on an episode, and the ability to pitch in on future episodes and topics.
Yeah, we've already had a few people do that, so those look for those coming out soon.
Although today's topic we stumbled across, and this is a conversation we've had in the past, or at least this topic you've brought up to me specifically as a bugaboo.
Yeah.
This one's one of those.
It's so true.
It's one of those ones that I do believe in the future you could write a pretty good book on it. Maybe.
Yeah, with absolutely no research or.
Oh yeah, no research, nothing, just the opinion of one man. But guess what? Every book you've ever read, it's just the opinion of some
That's a good
person.
Point. That's a good point. Good
Always. Point. Just some people actually have done enough in
Harry
life
Potter,
to back up
almost no research.
Yeah. Literally none.
They got London right, I think. That was it.
It's just what you do in life that backs up the words you say on what gives somebody more or less credibility, but it's all opinion regardless at the end of the day.
100%. Well, thanks so much for listening to the...
Yeah.
Just kidding. That was a really good quote, though.
Dude, I'm so excited for this one, though. But we are talking about talent versus hard work.
Yes. And what it means specifically, obviously, in relation to music and musicians.
Yes, because the two can coincide. They can fight against each other. There's so much with this, but who are we talking about to start? I think we're talking about people like Usher and Taylor Swift who showed signs of talent, but then followed up the talent with extreme hard work.
I think we could probably say as a roughly blanket statement, pretty much anyone at that level is going to have both those things.
I'm sure there's some outliers, and I guess I could have researched like who was lazy and became fucking famous. But there's got to be a couple. That's
when you get like the Johnny Manziels.
I was gonna say there's got to be a couple that you either get it from family, like inherited fame, whereas like
that's true.
Both parents are successful in a field, and you just already have the connection.
The trust fund
people.
Kid.
Yeah, exactly. So everything's handed. Even if you do work hard, you had opportunities that weren't. You know what I mean? Like
working hard, I think will
always benefit,
but it'll get rid of that trust fund kid stigma.
Work out of that,
like Wolfgang Van Halen, for example. So he's obviously Eddie Van Halen's son, and he comes out with his own album a few years ago. And you would think like, oh, okay, well, he's got daddy's budget, he's got the marketing. Any label's going to scoop him up. They haven't even heard the songs. They know it's just going to sell because of the name. Blah 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 blah. It's probably not going to be good based on other times we've seen this happen. Mm-hmm. And it's the opposite. He's really humble. He's really hardworking. He recorded every note on the album himself. The music is really good. Yeah. He's a good singer. He writes good songs. And, he doesn't even go by Van Halen. The band's name is Mammoth WVH. So it's kind of in there, but it's not like you're seeing it as you're scrolling by and you're like, oh, well, I got to click that. So he kind of even buried the lead that way. So
he wants his own identity.
Yeah, and that's the best way to do that, I think, and he did it better than maybe anyone I've seen.
Yeah.
Miley Cyrus, I guess. I don't know.
So, real quick, if you wouldn't mind pulling up Google, there's a couple things I wanted to get some word definitions for this episode.
Let's do it.
First of all, I wonder what the definition truly is for talent.
Okay, let's do it.
In general, like just a basic definition.
All right, it's got multiple definitions.
Special ability.
An individual's above average ability or aptitude for a particular function or range of functions. Talent can be athletic, creative, or artistic. For example, someone might have a talent for cooking or music. Oh. That's number one, so special ability. Number two, general intelligence, mental power or ability. I'm not sure I really agree with that. If someone's got general intelligence, you might say they're smart. I don't know that I'd say they're talented.
Well, I think...
way to solve that math problem, you're talented.
I think being somebody whose mind and ideals can be molded in a way that like... Some people
like
actually,
teachable, coachable.
Some people actually don't have the trait to learn and grow and like improve. Like they mentally don't have the trait to improve.
Right.
And so like that's why it's like it does take a certain level of talent to look at the negative things you do, the things you mess up on, and learn and improve those things. A lot of people don't like to look inward and stuff, but I think being talented in that way, like, I think that's more the way they're going, is like the ability to grow or the ability to.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
and number 3, we can throw out. It's just an ancient unit of weight.
Yeah.
So a unit of Palestine and Syria equal to 3,000 shekels.
Called it talent.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Dude, I'm so talented right
3,000
now.
shekels. Haven't heard that word in a while.
Or 6,000 drachmae.
So what I was thinking, because our initial thing was specifically with singing. There is talent.
Well, let's back up. Let's go. What is our general thesis? I think you have one and I have one. So what's our thought going in, and then we can discuss in various instruments and various artists what we think and what we feel.
I don't know, because I think I'm kind of on your side as far as, so I do think that talent is a real thing, that you can be born with talent, but I don't think, I feel like hard work can essentially match or exceed talent. So like hard work is a more powerful thing.
Well, my thesis has always been, I don't think talent's a real thing. Yeah,
and that's why I was like, I kind of want to be on the opposite end of you. I do believe a lot of the points that you bring up in this.
Well, I've since kind of rescinded it to maybe like talent is obviously a thing.
Yeah.
But I think it's not nearly as much as people think. I think it's like a 90-10 scenario.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Whereas people think it's more like a 70% talent.
I think people think it's like 80-20.
Oh, you think it's like that?
Like, oh, he's real talented. And it's like, oh, hold on, dude. I've been practicing for 8 hours a day for 20 years. Like, that's not talent.
Dude's been shredding since he first touched a guitar. No, he sucked. No. Just like everybody else.
Nobody picked up a guitar the first time and did anything worth hearing.
Yeah, no.
The singing, that's a little different. That might skew more like 70-30, you know?
Yeah, and that's...
Where there is some natural ability.
And that's just like physical traits, like the shape of your vocal cords, the shape of your throat, like your lung, like all of that just comes down to like truly something that you're born with, which is
But I think people think singing is like 90-10 talent, hard work, and it's actually not.
There is so much work.
You can take like I was a god awful singer forever, and I've just sung for 10 years, and I'm a lot better than I was. So that's kind of just learning and trying and failing and just keeping going, even when you suck. That's the hard work component.
Yeah. So I think even when somebody discovers that they have talent, which is I think the first description is the best, like having maybe slightly above average performance at something with no prior training. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So being able to just pick something up and get it, like, I feel like that is closer to talent, and that also lies closer to the 10% thing. Like, I was able to pick it up easy, but I think even talented people have to start and learn the basics a lot of times, because
you're never going to be able to skip. It's like
you can't skip steps.
You can't write a book. Like, you got to learn English. You know what I mean?
Better at the start, and that's maybe the difference between two people, that one is talented and one is, quote, not. Maybe two people both pick up the same thing. One might be further ahead through natural talent, but the other person can still reach the exact same ceiling with hard work.
I think the talent portion, though, and this is what makes me think maybe talent's not a thing anymore.
Oh, this is why I'm excited.
I think it's maybe the wrong word. I think the talent is not, I'm so talented at guitar. I think it's like, I just had a talent of being able to learn that one thing better and faster than you or anyone else.
Oh, yeah.
So it's not like I'm just pick up a guitar and I'm like, like that's never been a thing for anyone. That's my argument for like, maybe talent isn't really a thing, or maybe it's really just maybe misnomered.
Well, this is almost part of finding what you're good at in life. Like,
I was going to say,
like, everyone always says there's a couple things that you are good at. You have to find them sometimes, and they don't always come easy. But there are a couple things that you are like naturally like lean towards, gifted at.
I was going to say, imagine. It's such a weird thought, but imagine how many people out there, ourselves included, have these hidden talents that we don't even know are there.
Dude, I think about this all the time.
Without ever knowing it.
I'm over here thinking like the best guitar player in the world could be in some like indigenous place in Africa just chilling, and he had the talent but was never ever introduced to that, you know, or even like somebody is like a genius but they're just in like a little town in Russia or just some random place that's just so off the map that has no accessibility to anything, and the person who's the best at something is just unable to ever discover that talent.
That is one nice thing about America over a lot of other countries, is we do have that ability to step out of your small town. We see it so often with musicians and athletes and things like that. It's almost a meritocracy in most instances, where if you're good enough, you can move on and grow and get out, you know?
The chasing your dreams, the American dream thing.
Yeah, for
This
sure.
This is what we founded on.
Opportunities don't always exist in every place.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly. So the move to America to make your life better thing is like it's a real thing. And
I mean, for all of our problems, we're still one of the better nations to live. That's why everyone's moving here.
yep. So I had a question. Where on our little scale of the talent versus hard work does a prodigy land? Because I think a prodigy might be the one exception.
Yeah,
that
for sure.
A prodigy is
just
true
freak.
talent.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's an anomaly.
Mozart was a prodigy. He was
Anomaly,
composed
but-
his first symphony, I think, at age 6.
Yeah.
What?
So like those people are like, that's what I'm saying. They skip all of the learning, all of the basics. They just have it. Like,
Or if you
right off the bat, they have that talent. And I don't think there's been enough study on prodigies because they come around so rarely, I feel like.
Yeah, it's got to be tough, but it's almost always a child, right? Young.
Yep.
And just crazy good to the point that like we watched that Tony Royster Jr. video where he's just a child,
yeah, dude.
shredding the drums, and it's like, you know, he's only like 7. If I started drums now, and in 7 years I wouldn't be that good. So it's not enough time has gone by to make the hard work argument. Literally, just not enough time.
Exactly.
So that's where the talent thing definitely comes in. But there could be a few explanations. It'd probably be case by case. They definitely didn't just not practice, though. You know what I mean? It's like Tiger Woods. Like he was just at 2 years old, he was swinging a golf club, and he was just forced to do it however many hours a day. By the time he's 8, like all the other kids were picking their nose. He was swinging a golf club like he's good at golf.
Yeah.
You know?
Dude, I kind of just got a shirt idea. I would just love the I'm not talented, I just work hard, like on the back type thing.
Yeah.
Or just those. But I do think prodigy might be the true definition for talent. Like as you're saying, we're using the wrong word. Maybe talent is what prodigies have. And then as far as everybody else, you're just finding something you're more gifted at, something that you're able to learn easier than others. And maybe it's the same with just like school.
Yeah.
A lot of people go towards English or they go towards math. It's like that. It's like that one or the other based on how your brain works.
Yeah.
So I guess like music makes sense to some people and it doesn't to others. So how would you, I'm trying to remember, I know you were extremely enthusiastic about the guitar when we started, and that really drove.
But for me, you can get rid of the
I wouldn't say there was
genetic
any
argument, the talent argument. Because
no.
the only person in my family that played music with any seriousness was my great grandpa, who I've never known.
I don't
No one in my family
about
plays.
this ever.
No one in my family plays music other than like a little bit of piano when they were.
I was
growing
just
up.
about
Like,
to say, I know that there's that piano your grandma has, but where did she get that from? Just
I don't know. Nobody, like, I mean, I'm talking all of my 25 cousins. Like,
yeah, you have a
as
lot
far
of
as I know,
family
no one plays music except me.
Wow.
Especially to the degree, like at a professional level. But not even like hobbyists. I think my uncle like strums a few chords and plays like some silly songs, you know. Like, but I'm the only one that even really cares about music in the sense that like I love listening to it and learning about artists and stuff like that. Most of my family's just kind of like turn on the radio, like you know. So you know, toss out any genetic argument there.
Yeah, that's true.
That's not to say I'm sitting here saying I'm the most talented, best. You know,
you just turned a
but
lot
I'm
of
speaking from my experience.
Yeah, you were able to turn a lot of enthusiasm into motivation, and
I think that's the other thing. The talent, I think, is the ability to love something that you don't give up on.
Yeah,
that's the talent.
So hard.
That the talent is not, oh wow, he's so good. It's being able to love it and having a maybe slightly higher than the average aptitude to soak in that information.
Yeah, that's probably one of my biggest regrets. And
those two things are probably
giving things up and stop doing
it's
things.
most people's regrets. Everybody does it. We all do it. I do it all the time.
Yeah.
I just didn't do it with this one thing.
Yeah, but this is like that one thing that's your thing. And that's how especially since I turned 30.
I am really happy about that. I listen to some people talk about this kind of stuff all the time, and they say once you learn the path, once you walk the path, which is to say you get very good at one thing, you see it in all things.
Yeah.
So you can now get very good at archery, get very good at chess, get very good at bass. Like you've already walked the path of guitar, you realize what it takes to kind of get to a certain level of whatever you're doing.
So the fundamentals of working hard and achieving success at something
are all the same.
It's all the same.
All the same. Yeah. No matter what you're doing. Basketball.
That ties into hard work. Hard work has a specific.
Why was Michael Jordan the best?
Yeah.
Can we talk about that?
Well,
I'm pretty sure he was out shooting free throws until like 3 in the morning. Like,
oh yeah, nonstop.
As a kid.
Practice, dedication, focus. He also was able to turn adversity into motivation.
One of his biggest talents, I think, will be his just absolutely maniacal, not of this world competition.
Yeah.
Competitiveness.
Oh yeah. Tell him he can't do something and immediately like got to prove you wrong.
One of the best things is when they poisoned him with the pizza delivery before one of the championship games. I don't remember the specifics. He was playing in an away game. Mm-hmm. Gets a pizza delivery at night. Sketchy. Like they ordered pizza and like it was kind of sketchy the way it was delivered and probably shouldn't have ate it, but he did. Ends up with food poisoning. Plays the next game, scores like 50 points or something. Just dominates. Like,
yeah.
It's just that's something in the brain for sure.
Oh yeah.
Most people don't have that.
That's something I wish
you see
I
it with
had.
Navy SEALs. You see it with NFL athletes. The ability to push past like your physical limitations. Mm-hmm. Music, I don't think is really the same way in that way. Like I have been super sick and can go out and play a show. Throwing up behind the amp, like whatever, like I'll just still play. Like it'll suck, but I'll be able to do the show.
Yeah.
It's there's not a lot of like physical demands in that way. Being on stage kind of it's physical. It's not the same as playing in the NFL.
So is that
you're not
So is that why sports are
way.
at the like pinnacle, because it's the marriage between intense
like
mental
cerebral,
and intense physical all at the same time?
Yeah, I mean, music can be physical. In no way is it ever touching anywhere near like a pro sport. But it definitely can be physical. I mean, I've chipped teeth on stage. I've played till my fingers were bleeding. Like I've had all these things. I had blood embedded in the wood of my guitar underneath my strings. Like I've had this stuff happen, but it's not just like not to even say that's the same as like playing D-line.
Yeah, that's a
like I've had, we call it gig neck. You wake up the next day, you're like, did I play in the NFL? But it's much more mental. You have to remember. Sometimes I sit back and think about how many notes I play a night, and now how many lyrics and notes I sing a night that are just in there. And I can just draw them out like memory. That's a crazy thought. Like every note of like the Sweet Child of Mine solo and then a million other solos are just, it's there.
I think about that too. Like throughout all of history, just people in general listening to music and being able to remember the words to so many songs, the notes to so many, music just resonates in memory.
Yeah, it does.
Better than other things do.
Yeah.
Music is something I was thinking about before this, just as far as the power of music. Let's say you're a really good lawyer. Mm-hmm. You're only a really good lawyer in any place that can speak English, unless you speak other names. Like that ability does not resonate around the world. Being a musician, music is
a really good
music.
Point. Universal.
Literally is universal.
Yeah.
A guitar sounds the exact same here. That you can take that guitar into China, sounds the exact same. You know what I mean? Like music being that universal language, whereas other languages don't share that. Yeah.
So this question brings up more good topics or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Is talent born or made? Is it something you're just born with?
I don't know, because people could probably bring up a genetic point where two successful athletes more times than not have athletic children that are more athletic than other people and things like that. As far as music though, I don't know if music is, and I know there, like we said, there's been musical prodigies, obviously, and people that have showed talent with music, but I don't know if music can be a genetic thing. Like
you can't practice talent.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's not a tangible, I can practice guitar. I can't practice talent.
No, that's just,
so that's kind of weird.
And that's what they always say, the famous Hollywood, like you have it or you don't.
And I don't agree with that though, because
and that's where your
go
biggest thing is
listen to
no.
Ed Sheeran and Shawn Mendes when they were coming up. They sounded like absolute dog shit.
Yeah.
And if they had sung to you or me, and we had said, "You just don't have it, kid. Go home," we wouldn't have Ed Sheeran or Shawn Mendes. Like Ed Sheeran was on Fallon, Conan, one of them.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
and he pulls out he was like, "Dude, I sucked in the beginning," and everyone's like, "No, you didn't. You're the most talented human being." Just all up in his jock.
Yep.
And he's like, "No, I promise." And he pulls out his phone and he plays a voice memo, and it's literally him like playing on guitar and singing, and he does this falsetto thing that's like, the whole crowd just dies laughing, and Ed Sheeran's just like nodding his head like, "I fucking told you." Like
he's like, "I had to work."
You have to work. You can't, and that should be inspiring to everybody. Like, oh, this guy who seemingly can't sing a wrong note sucked.
So I feel like that's where your first.
I suck too. I could do that, you know?
Yeah, your first quarrel with talent was don't take away from the hard work I put in and just stamp talented on me.
Yeah, that always kind of bugged me.
Don't just come up and be like, "Oh, you're so talented." Like, no, I fucking worked.
I would relate it to
hours
this.
and hours of sweat and tears
Yeah.
and hard work into this. Tell me.
But
like,
it's
I
sacrifice.
appreciate the work you put in.
It's sacrifice.
That's
It's
what you
all the
say
people-
to people. I appreciate the work you put in.
It's
Say
all
that
the,
to
it's
someone.
all the people in high school and college that went out partying and I stayed home and practiced. And then those same people are like, dude, you're so talented. It's like, no, dude,
No.
I sacrificed for decades while you ran around with your dick in your hands. Like, I'm not talented, I promise. I know me. I've met some people with talent. I'm not like them. Like, I don't have those gifts. I had to just bust ass. But it does feel like, imagine you started a business and grew it from the ground up and sacrificed and gave everything you had, and then you're a millionaire. And somebody walks up and is like, dude, must be nice to be born rich, and walks away. You're just like, what?
What? Yeah, exactly. That's
the same kind of thing.
That's the same concept.
Now, I'm not like ever genuinely offended. I usually just say, oh, thanks so much, you know, but
Yeah.
it does irk me a little bit when it's like, I promise you I'm not. Like, you don't know.
I feel like perfect pitch. That falls under one
That's
of those
more of,
talent things.
it's not a talent. It's almost like a
is that-
disease.
Is it
It's
another
like having,
genetic thing?
It is. It's like having, we should explain what perfect pitch is. There's two types of hearing pitches. There's perfect pitch and relative pitch. Perfect pitch is if I play a note on the piano or sing a note, you can tell me what note that was. Oh, that was a G sharp or whatever. I don't have perfect pitch. I don't know if that was a G sharp. I do have relative pitch. If you play a C chord on the piano and then you play a G chord, I can be like, oh, that's a G chord. Because I know C and I hear the relative. If you tell me it's a C, I still can't guess it if I have absolutely no knowledge. But if you give me a first pitch, so I know where I am, and then play pitches around it, I can tell you what they are because I know where that home base is. Perfect pitch, someone with that doesn't need it. A lot of people think perfect pitch, I've heard it used very incorrectly a lot. They think perfect pitch is like you sing good and you sing on pitch.
Oh, no.
You sing with great pitch. That's awesome. You have great pitch. It's not perfect pitch. It's not perfect pitch has nothing to do with
what you
singing.
hear.
It has to do with your ears, yeah. And it's like it's a disease, essentially. It's not bad.
It's like OCD type thing.
It's just something
but
you
with
have
music.
that you have and you were born with it and you can't do anything about it, and that's just what it is. You can't practice it to get it. You can only practice your relative pitch if you don't have perfect pitch. I know several people with perfect pitch. It's fun to be around them. I always quiz them.
Dude, imagine being born and you have perfect pitch, photographic memory, like all those like rare traits that make you kind of superhuman, but you have all of them.
Yeah, you'd probably be pretty psychotic.
Yeah.
I was thinking how many people have perfect pitch that never pick up an instrument.
I was also thinking that like
Yeah.
people with perfect pitch could essentially never discover it.
Because you're born with perfect pitch, but you're not born knowing what like a C is. Like you have to learn some music, you know,
Yeah.
to like understand like, whoa, this is what I'm hearing. I just get it real quick. I found perfect pitch in one of my students. He didn't know he had it.
Really?
And we were listening to, during one of our summer camps, we were listening to one of the songs, and I heard him kind of mutter to himself, oh, that's a D minor. And I looked at him, I was like, you have perfect pitch? He was like, yeah, I think so. I was like, I think you do too.
I feel like
cool.
somebody who's never discovered music but has perfect pitch could just like in their head be like, wow, that car horn sounded like that bird the other day. Like, you know what I mean? With like different notes, and
Yeah.
they would draw the similarities between like they're hearing an A. They don't know it's an A,
Right. They
but
just hear it's the
they
same,
know
yeah.
what an A sounds like.
Charlie
as far as,
Puth
like,
has perfect pitch.
So like they could probably hear those kind of things, make the associations of like that sounds like that, and probably
Yeah.
because they're the same pitch type thing. But they would never know because they never actually learned
put
music.
it together.
Yeah.
Charlie Puth is one of the famous people that has perfect pitch, and he said as a kid he would hum an A flat in the back of the classroom because that's what a lot of phones vibrate at. So it drive the teachers crazy thinking a phone was vibrating, just whatever
Yeah,
note
yeah,
he
just being
found.
able to hit it. Yeah.
I don't know what an A flat is off the top of my head, but that was pretty funny.
Yeah, perfect pitch sounds like something that's just fun to play with. Like being able to run up and hit like 7 random keys on the keyboard and they tell you what all 7 are.
Yeah, C sharp, C sharp.
Yeah,
That's like an advanced level.
That's
of
somebody who
perfect
knows
pitch.
music, has put in the work into their perfect pitch.
Exactly.
And continue to push that envelope and get that skill, as sharp as possible.
Yeah. But perfect pitch is a good example of something that you have it, you're born with it. There's no way to get it after that, that's just what it is. That could be an example of talent. Although
I don't
by
know,
itself,
man.
it's not really a talent.
Maybe we
it's
just
kind of a thing.
haven't studied the brain enough. Maybe we can get in there and attach something in your brain to something else. All of a sudden, perfect pitch is turned on.
Yeah.
Bing.
That would be cool.
That'd be
If they discover, at least at the time of recording this, there's no
put
way
my
to do
name
that.
on the list for the surgery.
Yeah.
You learned how to turn on perfect pitch.
Just go in, there's a light switch.
Yeah.
All right, you got it.
Got it. Dude, I want
Kept the
photographic.
stupid switch on. Did you want that?
I want photographic
No, turn that
memory
off too.
more than anything.
I kind of have that with it's not photographic, but I have that with songs, and I have a pretty advanced memory in the sense that I've looked up like how to improve your memory. I was like, oh, I do all this. Like, but basically, I think of memory as like a house, and there's like different rooms, and I can go into the room and like grab the first whole thing. So like, I might have forgotten how to play a song, but if I go into that room and grab the first few notes, if I look up the first few notes, it all comes back into the whole song.
Yeah,
lyrics.
That's like there's a name for that though. It's like information that we store away that's not readily accessible, but after a couple of hints and passwords and things like that, those memories become unlocked again.
Yeah, have you ever had the thing where you like something comes back to you and you remember it truly and you like had absolutely no idea that was in there, and you were like, dude, I remember that.
Because it's like the mixture of a new memory with an old memory at the same time, and that's that
where it's like a lot of times it'll be a song. I'll hear a song and I'll be like, oh, who's this? And I'll pull it up and play it and be like, oh, this was my favorite song when I was like 8. Like, I have no memory of that.
Because you forget about it completely. That happened with me the other day.
It happened to me the other day too, like a couple weeks ago. But
I think it was a Pink song.
I saw this funny thing that said, if I say the other day, that means any day from now between my birth.
Yeah.
It's like I say the other day, I realized it was like 3 years ago.
The other day just means in the past. But in the past sounds so long ago. Yeah. But in the past is 10 seconds ago. So it's all relative.
That's true. So artists that are particularly talented, what do we think?
So far, like I'm just kind of thinking through.
It would have to be like multi-instrumentalists and stuff, right?
Just
like
through
Bruno Mars or something.
The episodes we've gone through, like, you know, talent was mentioned specifically with Usher and Taylor Swift, but even when you go back and look, it's not like Usher did have a pretty killer voice as a kid. Taylor didn't. She just had her talent was being a hard worker. Yeah, her talent is being a hard worker. As far as like, she worked really hard on her voice, on her music, on making herself a big star. Like, she was motivated and hardworking. That is I guess what you could call a talent in itself. Maybe the ability for that, like.
That comes back to like the love for it, like the desire to be the best at what you want to be, you know, and try to like work hard at that. That's a tough one.
Are we gonna have to ban the word talent on our show? We'll just get it out of here.
It'll be a little hot button issue.
It'll be like There's a on one of my football podcasts I listen to, they banned the word tank. Which is like, you know, when your team tanks and they try and lose a bunch of games.
I thought you were going to say like he's a tank.
Like, no, not like that. So like
get a draft pick, that's really what they do?
That's what it's called. Sucks. They don't do it on purpose. Oh. But a GM can specifically set your team up with enough bad players that they know they're not capable of winning, you know, enough games to be relevant. But you call tanking just making where your team is bad for a year or whatever.
Yeah.
But people hate that word because of that negative association with like doing bad on purpose. Like, no, but sometimes a team is just to a point with cap and old players, and they just need a reset. You know, you just need one bad year, then. But I just like the word that they ban a word. So and it's another T word, just banning T words. So
we can say tank though.
So if we hear anybody say talent or you type it anywhere, just immediately blocked, banned. You know, I'm just kidding.
No, I want to hear from you guys as well. Like, what talent versus hard work? What are your thoughts? Let us know.
Yeah, I'd love to hear other people's opinions on this, because it's one of those, I haven't really heard this subject brought up outside of you and me talking about it a whole lot. I haven't had this conversation with a ton of people.
Just assume like, oh, he's good, he's talented.
Yeah, because it's one of those things that nobody's ever thought that that's a bad thing that they're saying.
Yeah, and I understand why. Like, that's why I'm not like offended.
Yeah, that's why you wouldn't be upset.
You're just saying I'm good. That's nice. Thank you. Yeah. Like, you know, like I'm not going to be the guy that's like.
But if we are diving into the actual,
it is really fun to analyze
weeds. Of what talent is and what hard work is.
Yeah, because I think if we do dive in, we realize pretty quickly talent is either not a thing or way less of a thing than we thought.
Yeah. I don't want this to sound bad, but I'm gonna explain something to you people. And this is Dallas and I have known each other for a long, long time. Mm-hmm. What, 20 years?
Yeah.
I'm one of those people that can, and Dallas is, you're able to do that with a few things, but I'm one of those people that's able to, like, walk up, see this new sport or something I've never played, and I'm immediately going to be pretty good.
Yeah.
Like most things I do, I pick
But
up and I'm
those
good at.
those are things like
But
beer pong, finding 4-leaf clovers.
Oh, dude, just random stuff. But even like
throwing,
regular, I'm pretty
throwing
good
a
at
paper
sports.
thing in a trash can from like 50 feet. Like just
So
crazy shit.
maybe
Like,
I'm learning. I just have crazy good coordination.
yeah, I think that might be it. Yeah.
And I have always had really good coordination, which is why I love playing football and stuff.
Yeah.
So good coordination automatically makes you good at a lot of things, I guess.
Yeah. Well, more than that though, with you though, you're someone that gets obsessed with something.
Obsessed. I learn it I'm the jack of all trades, master of none.
Yeah.
But I'm also one of the laziest people you'll ever meet. Like absolutely hard work is just not. I can do it sometimes.
Hard work
there
is hard,
just
dude.
gets to this time where like I know that hard work finally has to be done, and that's when hard work happens. I'm a procrastinator
It has to be done. That's
to
fine.
the point that just like I can work extremely hard under a scenario where I have to, but
Right.
I am just unable to work hard by choice, just at all times. And I've always admired you because you work extremely fucking hard at everything. And
I think it's because I just like the work though.
yeah, I know.
Like,
and
I like
hate
the journey.
the work.
Yeah.
I hate that part. I just want to go to the end.
I just
and
love the journey, you know.
And I understand
that
These
right
are-
there. That right there is life. Like
I
life
know,
isn't,
I know.
and that is so cliche, but life is never the destination. Because when you get there, you look around, you're like, this fucking sucks. Like, life is the journey because you're never there. You're just enjoying the process of getting 1% better each day.
Yeah.
And then you look back, like I look back a year ago and hear some of my guitar playing. I'm like, did I think this was good? Like, and I have not noticed I've gotten a lick better in a year, but I have.
Yeah.
Just from time spent playing and stuff. So you have to learn however you find whatever book you read, whatever quote inspires you to flip that switch. Not talking about you specifically, anyone, the general you, to enjoy the process.
Yeah.
And to enjoy the time you spent sitting down the guitar or whatever, you know.
I feel so good afterwards too. When I really do work hard and like do a good job on something and you put a lot of work in and release a good product or just like create something that you're proud of, that feeling is great. And I love that feeling. It's just, I am extremely lazy in most moments of my life, and getting myself out of that like laziness is the hard part. But once I'm out, like I can be one of the most motivated people you ever see. Like you can give me like a list of shit, I can get stuff done. I'm very capable of that. And that's what separates me from like the lazy.
Some people,
that's what
some people
separates
never
me
get
from
out
the
of
lazy people.
Never get out of it, you know?
Yeah, that's what separates me from being a truly lazy person is I still
You just need
ultimately
like that
at the
spark.
end of the day, that's what, like even with our episodes, like I'll chill, I'll casually read a book and stuff, but then like the 2-3 days before we're recording, I'm just like
all in
cramming.
Yeah.
But then it also makes me extremely fresh on the topic when we record. All the information's in my head. And I think the issue is with that though, when you're a procrastinator and you cram stuff, that information doesn't last as long.
Yeah, that's true.
That's not everlasting knowledge that I have. I'm not going to remember that forever. Now, if I took my time over 2 weeks and really read and spread it out and associated this knowledge that I'm learning slowly and really absorbed it, I could probably, years from now be able to just rattle off every bit of information from our podcasts.
That's true. But then the question is like, why would you want to do that? You know?
Oh yeah.
My thing is, I've gotten really good at kind of trusting my brain and my memory that it'll hold on to the things that I need that are important. Mm-hmm. And I realize like if I forgot something, I don't really try super hard to remember it. I'll just be like, it's either not important or it'll come to me when I need it.
It'll come up when you need it. Yeah.
So I've just learned to rely on my
toss it in the filing cabinet and move on.
Most of the time, that's with songs I'm writing. So if I write something and I forget to record it or something, I'm like, oh shit, that was really good. What was it? Oh, if I can't remember, it wasn't that good. So moving on. Like,
that makes sense. Yeah.
Like, if I do remember, like, there's been things that I've written that I did not record in any way and remembered for like a week and a half. Just like every note, every lyric, and I was like, that's something that we're gonna work on. Like,
Well, that's a good way to.
I've also gotten a lot better at just cataloging ideas.
Yeah, that's a good way to separate. Like, oh, must not have been a good idea if it really didn't.
But I'm like that with
me.
everything. I'll hear a song in the restaurant and I'll miss Shazamming it. It goes off before. I'm like, well, I'll hear it again later. I'll remember it, whatever. Like,
yeah.
And most of the time I do. It'll show up in a Target the next day, and I'm like, no way. Like, That's more
happened a couple
serendipity
times where
than-
I was unable to Shazam a song. Such a sad moment.
pull it out right at the last, like,
moment.
and they're like, yeah. Like,
Dude,
shit.
for me, I'm always like, should I Shazam it? I want to think of it on my own. Like maybe one more hint will come up.
I'm never like that. I'm always just immediately
dude.
like-
Yeah, see, I got to get better at that because then I'll be like, all right, I'll Shazam it. I pull the phone out, songs in, like
So you
literally
can add-
ending, and I'm like,
You can add Shazam to your
to the I didn't
drop
know
down
that
thing on iPhone. So that then, if you're in a crowded spot, I always hold it up. I'm not ashamed
I
at
do
all.
it too. I don't care. What are you doing? Shazamming? Like I don't care.
What you think I'm doing? You're the idiot.
Yeah, exactly. You didn't think about who
I'm
this song
Shazamming
is?
Justin Timberlake's first album. What do you like?
I also love that it like saves the. I never knew that
history,
Shazam
yeah.
like saved the history for the longest time until I went in and I was like, oh my god, this is awesome.
Yeah.
So I could go add my stuff to like my Apple Music.
That's so funny.
That's
So
funny.
what are the things you're good at?
See, I was trying to think of like
What is your talent?
like with drums. As far as music goes, like I could sit down and play a basic beat to start.
yeah.
Like
Oh yeah,
pretty
you got it
effectively.
quick. Yeah.
most
Sure.
people, a lot of people can't even do that. Drums are one of those harder things, and I
It's
still
a weird coordination thing. It takes
gonna say-
students. I teach drums all the time. It takes students new to it, especially if they're kids, several weeks, if not months, to get a basic like boom, God, boom, God. Adults much faster. They just they learn stuff better. They understand
When
things.
did we get? I think we got a drum set. I was 15,
something like that? Yeah.
15, 16, somewhere in there. I know I was in high school and we got it from my
and I would
dad,
jam.
who used to play. So
I used to bring up the bass, remember? And I was growing
Yeah.
my nails out for classical guitar. And we played bass one weekend, and I didn't even realize all my nails completely shredded off. I went back on Monday with no nails. My teacher was like, dude, what? Like,
damn.
I was like, honestly, I bite my nails. I'm never going to have nails. I'm sorry.
Yeah, right.
I just straight up told him, like, I'm not going to be doing that.
But like, I guess drums came like decently.
But I
easy,
think-
but
but I
then
think
the
everything
coordination
comes
part,
that way to
But
you, I
the
think.
coordination was like the coordination part is hard, and it's still hard. That's what I struggle with the most with that is because I kind of got really lazy with drums between 20 and 30. Like I was decently good at practicing through the late
Yeah.
teens
Oh, yeah,
and stuff.
true.
And then once I moved and didn't have access to a drum set over these past 10 years, that's really what has made me
So
like
with
I will
that-
sit down on a drum kit and practice for a while if it's there. I just have not
So is that an access thing, or is that a priority thing, or what do you think that is?
both, because if it was a
Like a
high
busy
priority,
thing?
if it was a high priority, I would find a way to, I could drive to my parents' house
Or just buy a
just
kit,
like a
you know,
yeah
or whatever,
Which
you
I'm looking into buying an electric kit. It's just most of the houses I've had, I would have had to buy an electric, and I have an acoustic set already. That's mine. It's in storage
At your house or at your dad's?
at my dad's house.
Oh, that's cool.
So
What
I
is
have
that kit?
It's an old Tomahawk, I think. we got.
Tama?
Tama, yeah.
T-A-M-A? Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
Tama.
cool. That's awesome. I don't remember it.
It's like an orangish color. I don't know, but it's drums. It doesn't sound great, but really, I just need something to practice, But now I'm looking into just getting like one of those. I think I'm gonna start with like the 3500 Roland electric kit and then upgrade
So
it
start pretty
over
good.
time.
I don't even think
Yeah.
you need to upgrade it. Those are great. You could start
Yeah.
even lower than that. The one that's like 1500 is great. I get to go around all my students' homes. They all have different kits.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm able to see like, oh, this one's garbage, or this one's pretty good. Like, how much is this? $300. Like, whoa.
But like, yeah. So that like basic coordination was good in the beginning with drums, but then when you get into the rudiments and the basics and stuff, the coordination goes to a whole new level, and I'm unable to do what I want to be able to do, and what basically most experienced drummers do is each leg and each arm can all act independent of each other. That's the ultimate goal of, that's the ascension of ultimate drumming.
Yeah.
Especially some people are so good that they
Full
can
limb
have like
independence,
they
yeah.
can have like right arm playing this time signature, this beat, left arm doing something completely different, left leg, right leg, all, and not even just playing like a beat, but different time signatures I've seen and stuff like that. Being able to like independently do that.
Yeah.
That's what I want to work towards. But really I need to, and I've always told myself this because I started playing drums by just jumping onto a kit, really need to take it back to rudiments and learn the rudiments on like a drum pad.
Yeah, true. The thing I've learned through teaching a bunch of students though as well is you gotta do whatever's gonna make it fun.
Yeah.
Whenever you're driving around or you're out at work and whatever makes you think like, man, I can't wait to get home and practice that. Oftentimes it's not double strokes on a pad.
It's not.
That's definitely helpful, but it's way more. You're gonna get better faster doing what you like. Like, oh, I want to learn that Chad Smith fill. I'm going to go home and can't wait to grind that for 3 hours. Like, that's what you want to be practicing.
I know, but...
And you'll learn all that other stuff through that. It's not like you're not doing it. You're just doing it like...
oh, see, that's what I was going to ask you as a teacher.
I can't think of a good metaphor for that. Usually I have pretty good metaphors.
So, like, through my experience at music is I'm like a mockingbird. So, like, with drums, like, I can hear the song, and then I can play the song. But in a way, my timing is bad or off because I don't practice with a metronome, which is something I need to implement, which is why I wanted to get back to some of the basics and really hammering in the basics with a metronome so that because my time gets off, but then my strokes are very sloppy because I never learned proper mechanics.
Oh, yeah, true.
So there's a lot of mechanical issues that I have that are sloppiness that I've just kind of, because I was able to make the song still sound right, it might not be exactly mechanically
with the song.
Played. Exactly.
But if you and I were to play the song, it will be all over the place, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it's like singing along to the song in the car. You're like, I'm a damn good singer. And you take the song away, you're like, oh, I suck.
Yeah, exactly. Dude, that's me every day of my life. Like, I feel like I could sing.
But if you have the kind of, you'll hear these drummers that are awesome, like talking about like, go practice your double strokes, whatever. That worked for them because they have that kind of psycho brain that I have a little bit of, that Michael Jordan had, where they don't mind. They get excited about that. I'm going to go home and do 1,000 push-ups. Fuck yeah. Like, you or me, we hear that, we're like, dude, I do anything other than that. Like, I'll sit on the couch. I'm not doing that. That's counterproductive to what you want to do. You want to figure out whatever it is fires you up about drumming and makes drumming fun and inspiring. And then you go do that. And then you'll just see everything else get better as you do it.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's one of those things that you got to
make it another job.
You got to keep the big picture in mind that like I'm doing these double strokes because there's like these 5 songs that all have really hard double stroke parts, but when I nail this double strokes on my practice, I'm gonna be able to nail those songs in the end.
Or like double strokes with your foot is the good times bad times thing. That thing, yeah.
Yeah. That's hard in my opinion.
Like,
I can do it. I can't do it fast. And that's what I want to, because Bonham could do it really fast with like that.
Chad Smith, same way.
Chad Smith, same. They're getting that foot in. It's just I can't get the rhythm of the kick pedal. But yeah, it just sounds like I need to put in some more hard work.
I just need to be more talented. Damn it.
Yeah, actually, you're right. I just
don't you think talent kind of ends up being an excuse in that way? Like someone will pick up guitar, try for a year, be like, dude, I fucking suck. I have no talent. I'm done. Where it's like, well, hold on. I also sucked. Like, everyone sucked. Like,
how much do you want it?
Yeah. And if the answer's not that much, then that's fine. Like, you don't have to want it. You don't have to want the same things I want. That's crazy.
It's funny you say that about the talent, because like on the way over here, as far as like, can talent like prevent you from also like going down the hard work path when you're a little
like
too
you get lazy
beginning? Yeah. And so that's what I was hearing with.
That's a really common thing.
When talking about, so in this particular case, we're talking about quarterbacks coming into the draft and how some people's arm talent is so good that they're just able. And what we mean by arm talent is just like these guys that like their mechanics are wrong, but they're still just whipping that ball better than somebody whose mechanics are perfect. And it's like those kind of things where just their basic like physical ability is so much better that they've been able to rely on that for so long that they've ignored all the proper ways to do everything, that now that talent has kind of
sometimes it's some things that might slow you down.
Yeah.
In music, I've never, like, sometimes bad technique will just prevent you from doing stuff. Most of the time, like, if you're achieving the sound, like, you're fine.
Yeah.
Like in football, if you're throwing it wrong, but you're winning every game because you're throwing so many touchdowns,
Aaron Rodgers.
Keep doing that.
Literally Aaron Rodgers. You go back and look at his like thing and it
don't
says,
change it. What are you doing?
Everything says like this dude just throws the football the worst way possible.
Yeah. Greg Howe's one of the greatest guitar players ever. He barely ever uses his pinky. He has quote horrible technique. He's one of the best ever. Like,
as long as you can,
it doesn't matter really. Like, it's like, we love to get stuck on technique and stuff, but as long as you're hitting the mark, it doesn't really matter. Like, the result is kind of what we're looking for in that instance. I tell my students that all the time. I'll correct them if something is atrocious and I can tell it's going to stop them from being able to do something down the way, Like, hey, your thumb's under the guitar. It's not going to work. I promise you. Like,
how many students do you have and what all instruments do you teach them?
I teach voice, guitar, piano, bass, and drums. And I have right now, not that many, maybe 15, 20 students. But over the course of teaching for the past decade, I've taught tens of thousands of lessons to probably thousands of students. So you start to see a lot of the same stuff. And I have plenty of adult students. I have plenty of kid students. Youngest I've taught was a 4-year-old piano. And then I teach plenty of adults that just lawyers and doctors and dentists and stuff that just want to hang out and learn some Grateful Dead songs and strum along. And we just spend half the lesson just talking, like, just fun stuff like that.
Yeah, that's cool. Who actually, I don't want to, I know you have a couple students that I believe listen, but so you don't have to mention names, but
I wish I could shake this cough. I know that's annoying for the listeners.
Who was the most talented person you taught? You don't have to mention name. What instrument did they play?
Maybe guitar. I've yet to. I've talked about this a little bit. I've yet to teach anyone that has that same fire that I had. Because I would show up to my guitar lessons. Dude, I had 50 questions. I had not only practiced and aced what they told me, but I had practiced and aced other stuff that I had questions about. Yeah. I had 5 songs I wanted to learn. Like, I would come in there like a freaking tornado. My guitar teacher was like, dude, slow down. Like, I've never seen that in a student.
Okay.
Yet. And I didn't realize that was weird. I was just like, this is what I want to do. Like, I want to learn this song. I want to learn this song. I want to learn this song. And I ask my students now, like, what are you into? I don't know. It's like, oh, cool. This is going to suck.
Oh, no. So are a lot of them just music lessons that their parents set up?
Sometimes, yes. Parents definitely want to get their kids exposed to stuff. And for most people, music isn't going to be it. That's super rare, For most people, football isn't going to be it.
Yeah.
There's so many things that are out there.
I was mainly asking because I was like, I wonder if you've come across that person that their parents are like, oh, he's kind of talented in music. I should get him in some lessons.
I've definitely taught some people that have gotten pretty damn good.
Yeah.
And one of them I have now.
Over the years?
Yeah, sometimes. Depends.
Okay.
One of my families just had to stop lessons. She just texted me now and was telling me like how sad she was. I taught her 2, the 3 of them. The daughter is the oldest. I've never taught her. I taught her 2 sons, the middle and the youngest. And I started with them when the youngest was in 8th grade and he's now in college. So we stopped lessons because he went to college. And he was doing good, playing solos, Freebird, fun stuff. And the younger one I taught drums too, and he just had to quit now because they're so busy with soccer and everything else. That's how it goes with kids.
Yeah.
But yeah, I keep up with my families pretty good.
That's cool that they
some of them it's like, this will be the last time I see you, and that's fine too,
Yeah, I was just like, because
some of them I've just been like, I fucking hate this. I don't want to be here. Like in one instance, I just texted the guy that sets up all the lessons, and I was like, I'm not teaching that kid anymore. I'm out. Like, like, find someone else. But most of the time, it's okay.
That kid, as
he was young.
Per definition, had zero talent.
He was young. He was learning ukulele, and he would like hit me. He would like just say like, I'm not doing that. Like, just stuff like that, to the point that I was just like, I'm never like lose my cool. I'm super patient with all of it. God damn. And but yeah, it was just like, sometimes it's just like, this is a massive waste of my time. Like,
I thought that was gonna go somewhere else because you took such a long break after I don't usually lose my cool, but this time I hit the shit out of it.
But this time I threw him through the window out into the front lawn. Dude,
I thought you were gonna say so.
No. Yeah, I'm like the one of the chillest like music teachers you'll ever learn. I always ask my students like, what do you want to learn? Because I want to make this fun for you.
Yeah.
I'll be able to teach you all the fundamental stuff through whatever we pick. You want to do AC/DC? Let's do that. Like, I'll show you this is the basic beat. We'll write it out. We'll learn notation. But we're learning AC/DC. How cool is that? As opposed to just like, now here is like, we're not making it like a classroom. That sucks. Like, no one's excited about that. These kids are in school all day. They don't want to come home and do more school.
Yeah. Oh, that makes sense. So
you got to keep it fun. But that's true for you too, or anyone else out there. Like, figure out what fires you up, what makes you want to be like, oh yeah, dude, let's do this, and like run through a wall. And then that's what you want to, you got to just scan through and think about like, that, I like that. Let's do that. Don't worry about anything else. And then when you're bored of that, get the next thing, go do that. And there's something with music that you'll get better just doing it. You don't have to practice anything. Just play. Just spend time at the drum kit. You will get better. Spend time at the drum kit every day for a month and record yourself at the beginning and end of the month. World of difference.
Like, I also love that with music.
Have no plan. Just do it.
True. Also with music, like learning one instrument very well puts you further into learning music for other instruments and whatnot. Yeah. So it all stems together.
For sure. But translates really well. Even to instruments you wouldn't think, like drums, piano, guitar, like they're all
it all adds on to the knowledge, and all, knowing the other instruments and other parts is an important part especially in playing in a band. You can't just know your instrument and be completely oblivious.
You got to be able to talk to everyone. Yeah, drummers tend to be the worst at that.
You got to be able to communicate properly.
Yeah,
with and without your instrument to the other musicians.
Yep. Drummers historically tend to be the worst at that because their instrument's not pitched, so they don't have as much need to learn, what an A chord is or whatever. Like that means nothing to them.
But it's a powerful thing when they.
And
do.
By the way, that's not to say that's bad. Like if you don't need it, you don't need it. Like who cares? Why would you learn something you don't need? But in some instances, depending on the case, it is helpful to know. Yeah, for sure. For drummers, a lot of drummers though, the power combo. A lot of the best drummers also play piano. That's when you get a drummer that's like, piano, this guy's good. He knows what's up. Like, I know a lot of drummers that do that.
And typically, a drummer who can play piano, they're able to understand all the other instruments because they understand notes, and they also probably are able to sing backup vocals.
Yeah, which is super helpful. Singing, I feel like just like helpful.
You're able to sing well when you learn piano. It seems like you're just able to.
You just get good pitch.
Yeah, you're able to have good pitch. I guess. Yeah. It seems like something that just comes along with it.
That goes with voice lessons for sure.
Yeah. But so I feel like everybody, I hope everybody took some good information. I'm really excited to see what everyone who listens has to say about this. Because
I was going to say, what do you think about, I meant to say earlier when we were talking about talent, but no hard work. And it's only because I just recently watched the documentary, but Johnny Manziel came to mind, the quarterback from Texas A&M.
Who was like.
He went to the Browns. You know?
And then fell off the face of the earth.
Yeah, but I think watching the documentary, at least, it seemed that he had like some underlying mental issues. Mm-hmm. Like as soon as the pressure started mounting, he would just go on like drinking benders and drugs and all sorts of stuff and just disappear. He was fired from the Browns because like a day before a game, he just flew to Vegas. And then when he got to Vegas, he realized he didn't understand how to like book flights back. And like when he went to do it, there were no flights left. He was like, fuck it. And he just stayed there. So he was just like that kind of guy where it was just like, and what sucked is he had tremendous talent. Mm-hmm. But he just didn't seem to really have that work. He was the kind of guy, they said he wouldn't watch tape. That's such a crucial part of being a quarterback, watching game tape and stuff. I watch game tape for my shows. It's super important to get better. And then when they checked his like iPad hours for how much he watched, it was 0.0. Like didn't even open it up. Like, Jesus. Like, just that kind of thing. Like absolutely no hard work, but very talented. The problem is, and this is what you see in this case, talent will get you pretty far if you're really talented. He went through college like a superstar. He was drafted after his sophomore year into the NFL.
Yep.
He won the Heisman. He was just dominating. But when you get to the NFL, those guys were also all super talented, but they also all worked hard. So now everyone's talented. The floor is level again.
Yeah.
And you've been relying on your talent with no hard work, and now you're in a place where everyone is just as talented as you, but they also work mega hard. You're toast, dude. You're done. Like you're not going to survive in that pool. These guys work way too hard, and they're just as good as you to begin with.
Yeah, that's that level of professionalism.
Yeah,
that's what that is.
Yeah, it kind of sucks, dude. It's just like he was like the main guy. They interviewed him in this documentary and everything, and I kind of left with like a bad taste in my mouth. Like he doesn't seem like a very good guy. Like,
that's how my opinion has been on him. I've never been a big fan of his.
He definitely had that bad boy image.
Yep.
Partying, all that stuff. Now, one thing he did say, he was very pissed that the NCAA doesn't pay their athletes, and he was the one that got in trouble. But he was the one that got in trouble for making a lot of money from like signing stuff like in secret back rooms and stuff. And like, dude, for that, I don't blame you at all.
They do it now.
Yeah, that's good. But still not enough. Dude.
College kids make millions now.
Oh, that's good. Okay.
Oh no, they make like the college quarterbacks make like $8 million. They make more than they make when they go to the NFL.
That's crazy.
That's why a lot of people are actually staying in college now because
incentivizes them,
all 4 years. Because when you go into the league as a pro, when you're a rookie making your rookie minimum, you make I think $900,000 or $950,000. And
do they pay everyone on the team or just top performers?
And I think that's what scales down from like first pick. Or actually, no, Brock Purdy was 7th round. So I think you make a little over $1 million if you're picked in the first round. It depends on what round you're picked, on how much money.
No, I mean in college.
In college?
They're not paying everyone on that team, are they?
No.
Yeah.
It's like it scales down from like your top quarterbacks are all making, millions of dollars and then it goes down from there.
And that I understand because the NCAA is a business. I get it. Your quarterbacks are the ones packing the stands with people when they're good, but they deserve something. They shouldn't have nothing. Yeah. Because a lot of times they're getting like Charlie Whitehurst. He was a great quarterback for Clemson when I was growing up. And he just like, he went pro, but he was like plagued by injuries and all sorts of stuff and just could never get it going. But he brought so many people to that stadium. and never got anything for it except injured. And his shot of actually making money was taken away from him pretty much. Like that Marcus Lattimore from USC, same thing.
Yep.
Great running back. Never had a chance to go pro because he was injured. Never got anything for it. Just done.
Yeah, some guys get that.
We talk about football a lot.
I was going to say, yeah, we do.
The talent and hard work thing perfectly goes with athletes. Football just happens to be the one I know the most about and care the most about. I don't care about other sports really.
Same here. But yeah, I was going to say the talent, talent and hard work discussion just translates very well to sports.
Yep.
As well as musicians. So
artists, who are we thinking is like, I was thinking this earlier when we were talking about Usher. Talent to me means like you do more than just one thing, maybe. Like Usher sings and dances. That's cool. Yeah. Bruno Mars sings, dance, piano, drums, presumably bass, guitar, like backing vocals, production. Like that's a different level than someone like Usher, in my opinion. I've never seen Usher play an instrument. I'm not saying he can't. I just have not seen it.
Yeah.
To me, so the way that works behind the scenes a lot of times, again, I can't speak for Usher, for primarily hip hop and pop, those kind of people, they'll get a list of like 30 tracks, beats that they'll get to go through and be like, I really like, or maybe the label does, I really like 1, 8, and 20. All right, well, we wrote the song, go sing these, go to the studio. You're there for like 2 hours and then you leave.
Yeah.
Everybody else does everything else. So I've had confirmation on that for at least a few artists from people that were also in the same studio. They were in there working on their stuff in a different studio, and they said the artist came in for like an hour and left and like did everything, and like everybody else handles everything else. You might be a good singer, you might be have a talented voice, quote, but to me that's like, I don't really know. That's not.
So then that's where I like with the story of like Taylor, after like her third album, she then wanted to learn how to produce. So then she produced her entire album, and stuff like that. Like just learning
I see videos on Instagram all the time of Ariana Grande sitting down at Pro Tools, editing and recording her vocals, just like I do all the time.
Like everybody, like when they really want to learn every single part and process to what they do. So not just show up, sing, and leave. That when they want to show up, sing, interact with everyone, learn what happens afterwards, do this. Like when they're really truly interested. It feels like
you care more about the path and the journey than like the fame and the Instagram likes. You know what I mean?
Like when you, exactly. Actually care about, I'm here to make music because it's what I love.
Yeah. And I care about getting better and working at, that's always inspiring.
And it shows up so apparently to the people around you and the people in the studio. And
well, that's why you get the like diva kind of stereotype, right?
And I think you'd get a better result if you weren't that diva type. When people want to work for you.
Nowadays, especially. Back in the day, it didn't really affect you as much. And sometimes it was a helpful thing.
The diva comes in, does their diva thing, leaves, and they go, well, that guy pays your bills, so you better keep your fucking mouth shut.
Yeah, these days it's like, I mean, I'm sure it still exists for sure. They probably
have a little more power.
But it can go viral that like, even if you're just mean to a server, dude, you're almost canceled these days. You know what I mean? Which is kind of wild, the stuff you see online that is just horribly mean. Like, it's so funny. You'll see someone like, when Ellen came out as being mean or whatever, and she was trying to get canceled, people were trying to cancel her and stuff, and like you would see like, oh, Ellen's mean, we have to fucking kill her and burn her in the square. It's like, well, hold on, what?
Whoa. She was mean?
It's like some bosses are mean. I don't know what to tell you. Like, being mean is not a crime. Like,
I really just think that people see someone successful and with money and just will do anything to tear that person down.
Absolutely a part of it. And you know what the most frustrating thing to me is? If that same person just instantly had everything that the person they're shitting on had, they would be way worse.
Yeah. I openly tell people that I could not handle being famous. I would absolutely freak out on some paparazzi because I'm the kind of guy that
That's true, you would.
I absolutely can't even fill my entire week with events with my friends. I'll get too peopled out.
Yeah.
With that many. So then if you're like constantly open your door and there's like paparazzi always there, people always there. Like I just cannot handle huge volumes of people. So I'm openly like,
well, people got mad at Amy Schumer not too long ago, a couple years maybe. She was in Greenville, South Carolina, of all places.
Right down the road.
And somebody, I don't even think it was paparazzi, just some person just ran up and like put a camera in her face. And I think she either verbally told him to fuck off or like physically pushed like their camera away or something. And then the person like tried to sue. I don't remember all the details, but it was just like, you don't have a right to this person. Like, what are you doing? Like, you wouldn't do that to the person behind her. Like, why are you doing that to her? Like, people think as soon as you're famous or whatever that they're like entitled to something. It's like, dude, somebody said, I don't remember who, some person that is famous and successful. You know, you bought a ticket, I did the show, our transaction is done. I don't owe you anything beyond that.
Right. Yeah.
Like, and they weren't saying it to be mean, but like I totally get that. And you know what? By and large, I'm sure most people are awesome. Most people you meet are cool. It's like the silent majority, right? It's like 5% on each side are horrible, and then the 90 in the middle are great. You know.
Here's a weird thought.
But they're quiet.
I've never been like a big like freak out over celebrities.
Yeah, me either.
You know, I've never been that kind of guy. The number one thing I'd ever want like out of a celebrity is like I'd love to have a conversation with them, even about something that's not anything they do. Like, I think conversations about just random life topics with like a famous musician
like
or something.
more.
Exactly. Yeah. Like, let's just talk about some random things like I went fishing and this and this. You know,
to somebody me, you have to imagine like put yourself in their shoes. How many times is I don't know. How many times is Slash asked about the intro to Sweet Child of Mine?
Oh,
you know,
my
like,
God.
Don't be that guy that brings up. Ask him about why he loves snakes. You'll watch him just light up.
Dude, I love snakes too, bro.
My dinosaurs, dude. He's one of the biggest dinosaur fans.
Dude, my eyes just lit up because I love reptiles like that. Like, you just described, like, if I feel like Slash and I could literally now have like an hour-long conversation without ever jumping off of dinosaurs.
Yeah, right? Isn't that crazy?
Like,
what's funny is like I have absolutely no fame in any way, but whenever we do play shows, people will come up to me after and talk. And the people I like to talk to are not the ones that are talking about music. Like they talk about music and I'm just like smiling, nodding, like, kill me. Like I just did that. And I just did that. I don't want to do that right now. Like talk anything else. Pokemon cards, whatever. Like you pick.
This is something
I'll talk about it.
This is something in general with people. When you I feel like, so you see a famous musician or here's another one that's like a weird, I feel like you can make this comparison, but like as a guy, you see like a really, really attractive girl, like, you know, she's probably been told a billion times, like, go compliment something other than her looks. Yeah. Talk about something other than something that everyone talks about. That that's
in
another
a fun,
one.
playful way, like, you know.
But like with the musician, like, talk about something other than music. They'll actually appreciate it. I promise. And I know you're there to see their music.
They'll like you more.
Exactly. Yeah. It's something they're not going to expect, and immediately their defenses are going to change. They're not going to be on that defense. They're going to be intrigued. It's going to be like,
that's a good point. You kind of have to always play defense.
That's not what I was hearing. Yeah. That's not what I expected. And then all of a sudden they're confused a little bit, and then be interesting in the conversation, you know, and then eventually let that conversation evolve into, you know, like if they start to talk a lot and their responses get longer and more, you know, like, okay, they're into this, like, yeah. But just in general, I've always with celebrities, like, I've never really met any, never really interacted with a whole bunch, but if I did, you know, I'd be cool with just like a real basic conversation where like, hey, and that's it, like, cool. And then I can tell people like, oh, I saw this person. I'm not even like a picture guy. I've never wanted to be like either. I just like to tell people like, I met that person and he was cool, and that was that. That's like, I never wanted to be like you won't find me like a meet and greet line, you know. Hell no.
Like, I'm not that.
That's not for me.
And again, that's not, and just what you said, that's not for me. That's not to shit on people that are. Because those people make the world go round for the music industry. Super awesome. Fans, dude, that is what it's all about. Right? It's just not for me. That's all. And I'm probably wrong on that, but
I went to a League of Legends tournament with some friends, and one of his favorite players of all time happened to be there, and we were just talking. We were like walking through the crowd, and
the player, or you and your friend?
Me and my friend were. It was me and two buddies, and one of his favorite. And he was like, "Yeah, but he's probably not going to be here. He's like an ex-player. He just now streams,
just kind of hanging out there."
Yeah, and I was like, "No, I bet he'd be here." Not even 5 seconds later, I saw him. I go, "Yeah, he's right there, literally right there." And there was like a line, and he went and waited for like an hour or something, and got a picture with him and all that. And he was so ecstatic and was so happy afterwards. Awesome. No, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. Like, he met him. And then he even made a sign for him and got shown on TV.
That's hilarious.
So there was like all this extra stuff, but like it meant so much to him. And like me personally, I'm like, yeah, I wouldn't do any of that for anybody.
Over here. Yeah, for sure.
But I'd like appreciate how much he likes him and how much it made him happy at the end of the whole ordeal. And like it was a win-win for him. But like, I'm not sure if there's anybody unless I can like go wait in line and Shakira sits on my lap for like.
That's backwards.
Yeah, exactly.
You're sitting on her lap like she's Santa.
Yeah, she sits on my lap. I'm like,
can I have you for Christmas?
Yeah, this is great.
She's like, get off.
Get off. I still wouldn't even wait in line.
These hips lie.
Waiting in line for a person.
It seems weird. Yeah, for sure.
It's.
I don't like. Well, it's not even that. I don't like waiting in line. Period.
Okay. Yeah. That's right. Waiting in line is not something humans do happily.
Yeah, for sure. But the people I would choose to wait in line for the line would be so stupid long that it would just be like, I'm good. We'll catch you next time. Like Axl Rose is probably top of my list.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
I would love, but see, I don't want to just walk by and be like, great job.
You want to meet him. You want to meet him in a more intimate.
I want to sit down with him and be like, dude,
exactly.
I have so many questions about your songwriting.
Like you want to sit down on a more intimate. Yeah, you want a more intimate conversation, a more intimate meeting, which is why those like meet and greets are not great. Like you're not going to remember me. I'm one face in a billion. I want to meet you in a unique way with a unique experience that this memory doesn't just last for me, but lasts for you too.
Pretty much everyone I've met and had the chance to be around, it was that way, which is way better. I don't think I've ever met anyone.
But that's because
the other way. You're
not that goo goo gaga
person.
I come
out with a very different energy.
You're also extremely intelligent and ask very intelligent questions, and like you're able to have a conversation where you're able to immediately talk to somebody and they're like, okay, this guy like knows like what he's talking about.
I come at them they can tell I'm not like coming from with like the super fan energy. I'm just like, what's up, man? Oh, you got to go? Yeah, no worries, dude. We'll see you later. Like,
you're able to like, you have no disguise on. Like,
yeah, for sure. Yeah, because it's like, it's not that I don't care, but it's like, I don't care that much. Like, it's like, dude, you're awesome. Love you. Cool. Mm-hmm. Like,
exactly.
You got to go? No worries. I'm cool. I'll be here. Like,
yeah.
Cool, man. I think we did it. Talent versus hard work. We went all over the place today, but that was awesome.
We got off tangent, but I just enjoyed the
podcasts are great because tangents are the best. Like you don't. It's like the difference between listening to like a 30-second clip on like Fallon or whatever, and listening to like a 3-hour thing where you just talk about stuff. Like that's where the fun meat is. I think.
I guess that is what podcasts are so good for.
Long form, dude.
Good conversation.
Yeah,
that's what
long form. Fly on the wall. Unfortunately, it's with us two bozos, but
right.
But we appreciate you all being here nonetheless.
B-list entertainment, C-list. Where are we at?
We're not on the list.
Y entertainment. We're so far down the alphabet.
We're in the numbers. We're level 7, I think. But anyway, thank you guys so much for being here. This has been Melomaniax, the podcast where we take unbiased deep dives into, today, our own opinions, and they were very biased.
They were. Yeah.
But that's all right. Hit us up. Let us know what you think. info@melomaniax.com. Or you can comment on any of our socials or any other way we can get in touch. That's TikTok, Instagram, whatever. Hit us with those 5-star reviews on Apple and join the new Patreon.
Yeah.
Tell them about it.
I agree with everything. And Patreon, $5 a month. It's going to give you access to our Discord, a shout out on an episode, and the ability to pitch in on our topics, ideas, episodes.
Yep. And shout out today, Lex Gates, joining us all the way from Switzerland. Big fan of the show. We love you. And last week's episode was his suggestion. So, big shout out.
Shout out to Lex.
Anything else today? Are we good?
I think that wraps up.
Wow. I'm sorry my voice and cough were so bad this week, but I'll do better whenever I'm better.
I'll inject you with some medicine after this.
Yes. Plot twist. It's heroin. All right. We'll see you guys next week. Have a good one.
Later.